The Senate Committee on Human Rights has released its report on Islamophobia and its impact on Muslims in Canada. C2V's Jeremie Charron is standing by with more for us in Ottawa. Jeremie, the report just came out last hour. It's comprehensive. There were 13 recommendations made in all. Can you give us the highlights as to what this report found, what is happening with Islamophobia for Muslims who are living here in Canada?
Absolutely, Marcia. As you mentioned, it's a comprehensive report. We're still going through parts of it, but certainly some of the key findings is that Islamophobia is certainly present and prevalent in Canada. The committee says that Muslim Canadians are facing Islamophobia on a daily basis for some. It also found that 1 in 4 Canadians do not trust Muslims, and that Canada leads the G7 in terms of targeted killings of Muslims motivated by Islamophobia. Of course, this was all launched following the tragic events of January 2017, where 46 people were attacked in the Great Mosque of Quebec during evening prayer. 6 people were killed during that incident. But they also looked at other incidents across the country in Quebec, in Saskatoon, in Edmonton, in London, where Islamophobia has been clear and evident, where Muslim people have been targeted. There are also systemic issues that this committee found in learning that the Canadian government has ways that they feel they could improve on this. The chair herself spoke about her children facing intense scrutiny and more screening at the airport when traveling. Things like that this committee feels as though need to change. There are 13 recommendations, as you mentioned. One of them is to ensure that there is mandatory and regular training within the government so that things like this can change moving forward, so that the government can start to eliminate this systemic Islamophobia, the committee finds. The other one is that Canadian Heritage developed this multimedia campaign that can help educate Canadians, that can perhaps play a role in schools and start from a young age in educating Canadians. So certainly there are a lot of things here that this committee feels as though can change, and it highlighted some pretty serious things, some pretty serious issues it feels that are happening in our country, Marcia.
So in terms of the recommendations, do you know where we go from here, Jeremie?
Well, where we go from here is looking at new things, the committee says, taking some of these initiatives, these 13 recommendations that they have put forward, and looking how to use them to also solve current issues. The chair was asked about the fact that right now there is a rise in Islamophobia surrounding the situation in the Middle East, the war between Israel and Hamas. Let's listen in a little bit to what the chair had to say about that, because of course this report was finalized before the war even broke out. So let's listen to what she had to say on this.
Everything that's happening now we had finished our study. We haven't looked at the situation in the Middle East. The committee has not studied that. But we are hearing of incidences of rise in not only Islamophobia, but anti-Semitism too. And I think the government needs to take a strong stand.
So certainly this committee feels there are many things that could be done. One of the other recommendations is looking at the CRA and how the CRA operates. There was talk today about the fact that even Muslim organizations, charities, were further scrutinized by the CRA. So certainly there are a lot of issues here. We're still digging into a lot of them, and we will be throughout the day. But this committee has identified some serious issues and has determined that Islamophobia is certainly a major issue in Canada, but they feel there are ways to fix it, and 13 recommendations have been outlined here, and they believe that the Canadian government should move forward in taking up some of these recommendations to try and start that process, Marcia.
Right, and that was an important point made by the senator, that this study was done before the Israel-Hamas war started. All right, Jeremie, thanks for all that. We'll check in with you later today.